Hello, welcome. My name is Heather Zebrowski. I teach Enriched Language Arts. So your student has been with me either in second or third hour in their seventh grade Enriched Language Arts for this trimester. And just want to cover some things that we've gone over this trimester and expectations and what we'll be finishing up with this trimester one for 2020. So your student has a couple of things that I've asked them to get and do. One of them is a reader's notebook. So traditionally in class, they take notes in there. We do some writing Wednesdays. They do vocab. We do a book list of things they want are included in this reader's notebook. And I'm still asking them to take notes, keep them in the same place because our tests are, they're taking them at home or we're taking them online, so they can certainly use any notes they've taken. It's a resource that we use all year. Their writing Wednesdays will be in there, and eventually they'll create their own little portfolio of writing, and so they pull that from their writing Wednesdays. And if they have it all in the same place, it usually means they can go back and find it. The other thing that we're going to be doing in Enriched Language Arts throughout the year is a book of the month. So each month I'm going to ask them to read a book. Now, for some of them are readers, it's not going to take much time to do that. For some of them, it's going to be an issue of can I find a book and where do I find a book? My goal with the book of the month is not that they're just reading a book, but that we're kind of expanding their reading repertoire. So we're going to be reading books of different genres, doing different activities with those. So if your child came to you and said, I need to buy a book, we need to go to Barnes & Noble right now, don't feel like that has to happen. I have books in my classroom library that if they're an A or B student, they can borrow from. I have a PDF library on Schoology that they can borrow books and look and read books online, just kind of like a Kindle, but they're doing it on their computer. They can also use any books they have at home. So the goal is to get as many words in front of them as possible and also to expand their reading world a little bit. So if they only read science fiction, I want them to try a fantasy novel. I want them to read some nonfiction. So you'll hear them talking about book of the month. And really the goal is to read as widely as they can throughout the school year. So they'll be having their assignments, and then the book of the month kind of runs through each month. So October was the first month that they started that. So that will be, they'll be finishing that up the first week of November and doing a project with that. The end of the trimester is going to finish with nonfiction. We're going to start to look at some nonfiction text. They'll be writing a little bit of an argumentative essay, learning how to pull points from articles and then making their own argument. Up to this point, we've done a lot with short story elements. We've read some short stories, looked at theme, looked at plot diagrams, things like that. For the next 2 weeks, they're going to be writing their own short story. So we're talking about mood, how to create character, how do you build suspense, how do you write realistically. So they're going to be doing that through Halloween. So that's kind of what our trimester looks like. If you have any questions, most of my grading will be on campus. So they're going to do assignments in Schoology and stuff, but then the final grade will be on campus. So that's where you want to look for M for any missing assignments, or you can see where their grades are. My goal with language arts, is that they learn to write and that rewriting is part of that process. So I always tell them, like the short story that we're going to do, you're going to write it. And if you're not happy with your grade, you can always rewrite it right up until that trimester ends. So, the goal is that they learn that rewriting is part of the process. So when they tell you, well, Mrs. Z, she gave me this grade, I can't do anything about it, just know that they can always rewrite assignments, rework assignments. They just need to let me know, send me an email, let me know in class, and then we can continue to work on it because that's part of what, the skills that we're building here in seventh grade. So once again, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, go on Schoology, use that message system if you want through your students, have them let me know if they need something. Look for campus, that'll tell you what their grades are or if they're missing something. And, it's been a really pleasure. It's been hard to get to know them, but as they turn in writing and things like that, their personalities are starting to kind of shine through, and it's been a real pleasure to get to know your students. Once again, I'm Mrs. Zebrowski, Enriched Language Arts, and I look forward to spending some more time with your students and answering any questions you guys might have regarding class or your students' work. All right, thanks so much.